Stick around for this episode of the Tunepact Podcast where we talk about the importance of merch with Jame McElroy from Two Crow Collective.
Yo, what's up? Stick around, guys. Can't wait to chat.
Welcome to the Tunepact Podcast. I'm your host, the punk rock pop, Lee Pierce. And today's guest, we have Jame McElroy from Two Crow Collective. Could you do me a favor and introduce yourself, tell everybody a little bit about you, what you got going on?
Sure. What's up? My name's Jame, owner of Two Crow Collective. We're a clothing brand that ties marketing to tattoo culture, punk rock, music in general, and we love to promote and advocate for chronic mental health through our designs and then pushing storytelling wherever we can.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted you to come on. You've got a history. You were the merch guy in your area for a lot of years, and how important merch is to the music industry. It's mainly the main source of advertising anymore because all marketing is digital. There's almost no print mags, almost no zines, nothing like that. Nobody's printing posters and handbills. It's your T-shirts, your buttons, your cups, your mugs, your tumblers. That's your main way to get any physical marketing done anymore and how important that is. So, like, what got you started in, well, tell a little bit about your history. You've played in bands and done merch. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, through college, I was, in and out of bands a lot. And my goal, I was a DIY or die kind of guy. So I was the guy making punk posters, the guy making, digital posters and printing them out and flyering all over the place. A very hardcore guerrilla promo guy. I worked for promotion companies. I worked on the Shindig Festival in Baltimore for 3 years. I was their promoter for that. So I was running around to businesses making friends, and it got to the point where I was like, yo, I need to make shirts as cheaply and efficiently as possible. And I started doing it. I got a press for Christmas one year. I asked for it. It was the only thing I wanted. And the following year, I started just my own printing company. It was called Dirty Bourbon at the time. We switched the name a few years ago to Two Crow. I was hardcore printing for bands. I was working a corporate job, 9 to 5. I'd come home from work. I'd print from 6 to 12 or 6 to 1 a.m. every single day and got super burnt out. And then, I was playing in bands all through that time. But all of my friends' bands needed shirts, too. So I was the guy. I was the cheap dude. I was printing, crappy shirts, crappy quality. But, I was doing a ton of merch at that time. Just completely burnt out.
There's something still classic and close to my heart about the white ink on a thrift store shirt that probably hasn't been washed in 20 years and picking those up for $5-10 at a show because it's all the band could put together. There's something knowing that DIY ethic behind it is just still really cool. And seeing where you're at now is just incredible.
It's crazy.
Tell people a bit about your company now and what it is you're doing and how it's been going.
Yeah, so COVID hit. That was the hardest time of my life. I went into a hole, and I ended up just designing things for how I felt. And I was like, you know what? I got this quarantine money. I'm just going to buy a whole bunch of inventory on a whim. And I started doing TikTok and just showing my stuff. And it turned out that, something I thought I was designing for other people, I was really designing for myself. And so I started designing these, really impactful, edgy but raw, honest things that stem from music and DIY culture. And I have Crohn's disease, I have PTSD. Both of those things, if you look up Crohn's shirt, they're all silly. They're all silly poop related shirts. And I was like, I want something a little bit more real. That actually tells the pain that people go through. There's a famous guy. His name's Simon Squibb. He asks people what their dream is. I don't know if you've seen this on TikTok or Instagram or whatever. But one thing he said that has stuck with me since I heard it was you have to give your pain a purpose. And so that's what I did. And that's what I've been doing ever since. And that's how I got here. And so now I have this huge clothing brand. I'm working with tons of different artists now. I've expanded from my basement in Baltimore to a garage in Port Richey, Florida. Now I have my own storefront, and I'm too small for that now, too. So I'm looking at other locations, and we're just growing and growing and growing. It's crazy. But there's still that, DIY, I have to touch it. I have to, get my hands dirty mentality around everything I do. And I think that's super, super cool, and I love when bands do that too. Like I remember screen printing on the hood of my car. You know, like put a shirt down, put a screen down, print really quick before the show, and like nobody does that anymore, and it kind of sucks.
Even old school patches that
Yeah.
people would make. You'd pick up a jacket at a thrift store, cut it into squares, screen 40 on there, and cut it with the scissors before the show, and stitch it out with some dental floss. I mean, those were the days. Like I said, I'm pushing 50, so that was my time for sure.
Like plugging the iron in the venue on the merch booth table with a little bit of parchment, trying to get it to cure before the show starts, like all that stuff, man. I mean, like those were the days, and nobody does that anymore, you know. And I'm not saying you should. I wish bands pushed the envelope a little bit more with merch than they do. I feel like it's gotten a little like
Dale.
corporate. You know what I mean? Like we talked about this briefly before we got on, like tumblers and stuff. And like I don't know. I don't. If I go to a show, I don't want to buy a tumbler. I want to buy like something rad. And so anything you can do to like accentuate your table just a little bit is going to set you apart from anybody else.
Well, that and it helps with your branding too. Every band is a unique thing. Even if you got 10 of them that sound the same in a genre, there's something that sets them apart, whether it's their name or a
Yeah.
song title. I mean, have fun with it. It's not hard to come up with some fun word puns to turn it into graphics
Yeah.
and have something fun with it. Even if even if you're screening small posters to sell because you don't have the money for the to put up front for the t-shirts, or lighters is another big one too, or patches or pins, whatever it is. There's always options, and so many people don't try. Like you said, it's even the stuff that is the more commercialized stuff, or that's like tumblers or coffee cups or
Yeah, like
keychains.
yeah, lanyards
Yeah,
or
I never
whatever.
understood.
Like
Even when I was in bands playing shows where I got a cool lanyard and got to be backstage, I didn't even keep them. So I don't understand people that want to buy lanyards. Like you can't put it on your keychain; you're gonna slam at the door.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I think there's a really unique thing that I always tried to pride myself on is like I love, performing is awesome, right? Like being on stage for 30 minutes and giving it your all and like doing something rad and having people react is really cool. But when you get off stage and you're like, "Oh, sick, that band was so cool," and then you head over to the merch booth and it's just nothing. It's just a white table. And like if that's your vibe, like you could have the white table covered in graffiti or whatever, but like I don't know, like the cohesivity between the band on stage and off stage matters more than the bands think, I think, and I was always an advocate for like making the merch booth an experience. One thing I love, and this is what I've always advocated for with bands I've worked with, I was like, have something interactive, period. The reason Hot Topic did really well in the 90s is because you could go in there, even if you had $3, and you could sort through a big bucket of buttons or pins and find the one that felt like you. And that gave people a reason to even enter the door. And I think the same thing, like, give people a reason to go up to your merch booth that's not just like, I'm standing in the back looking at your shirts. Okay, cool. I don't like them. Bye. And like, give them a reason to talk to you. Make the sale. It's sales. It's literally sales.
Well, and a big thing coming back now, it should be, because the few bands I see do it is newsletters. Email newsletters is huge, because unless you're paying to hit the algorithm, the chances of your stuff, whether it's a show coming up or you got a new album come up, it's still pretty slim.
Yeah.
Depending upon if it's ever going to be seen or not. You send that email out, your fans are going to get it. And the few that I've seen that are doing it are having some really good luck with it. And that's the thing that people need to bring back at the merch table, is have a email sheet. Sign up for our mailing list, and winner, somebody gets picked off this at the end of the night, gets a free button. It's costing you $1, and you just got 40 people to walk up to your merch table.
Yeah.
And
And
you
I
got 40
think
more people on your newsletter.
you have to follow through though too. That's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
That's like I will be the first person to say it. Like I've had the email sign up on my merch booth, and we've gotten emails, and then it just sat on a yellow pad for 7 shows, and we did nothing with it. Like you have to have the follow up. You have to actually do it, and that's the second half of the battle. Yeah.
What is some struggles you see with bands when it comes to merch? What's some things that you've seen that are good or bad that you people don't think about until they get into it too deep?
Um, there's a couple things. I mean, one is like obviously most bands default to hey their band name on a black shirt with white ink, and that's fine. I think that's a great starting point if you have people that are coming to your shows, but like it's not really doing anything for you aside from making people potentially a walking billboard. You're trying to sell something that you like to somebody who may not like it versus trying to learn who your fans are and marketing something that is for them, that is still cool and still fits the band. That was, I mean, from my printing days when I was doing a ton of printing for bands, like that was the biggest thing. People were doing their band name on a shirt, and that's great, but everyone does their band name on a shirt. What can you do different? Um, Even just having art with your band name on a shirt is better than just your band name on a shirt, in my opinion. One thing I always advocated for was befriending your merch guy, befriending the person who does your merch, giving a little bit extra effort for the networking side of things, because at the end of the day, like, I prided myself on being able to do small batch printing for bands so that they could try things out. Like, I was super cheap so that like, hey, like give me like 4 designs and I'll do like literally 10 of each and we'll see what happens for the same price that somebody would go to a big store and get 100 shirts for 1 design. I'm like, look, try some things out, see what sells. When it does, I'll keep your screen. Come back, we'll print it again, and like trying to get the rhythm going for like smaller bands because they don't know, they're just testing the waters. It's
Well,
everything's a risk until you try it.
and that's another thing too. Talking about the feedback too, and it's good for social media engagement as well. Is I love when I see bands post like, "Hey, we're looking at doing some new merch. What do you guys want?"
Yeah.
And get them talking in your comments. That pushes you up the algorithm for starters, and then you've got your right there. There's your focus group. That's the people that you want to sell it to, is your fans, especially the ones that are going to comment on your social media posts. So stuff like that is always a good way to, so you have, I mean, there's still, I mean, it's a 50-50 shot if it's going to be a
Yeah, of
buster,
course,
if
of
it's going to
course.
sell, but at least give yourself the best odds. So what are some things, like, because you've dealt with bands, being in bands, getting merch, making merch. What are some things bands don't think about to like be prepared when they want to come talk to a graphic artist or a print place? What are yeah, I know it. Other than
Oh
it can't be 100 pixels by 100 pixels for fuck's sake. What are some
Um,
things they need to think about?
I'm going to start here. I know this is not the question you asked, but I'm going to start with this because it matters because you just brought it up. 100 by 100 pixels. I do posters for shows, like for venues, a lot. Like I have retained clients, and the amount of bands that send a JPEG with a wacky background, and it's not just their like whatever you do. If you take anything from this podcast, get a transparent PNG, white and black, and have that ready to go in a folder to send to every venue you play. Because frankly, like I like you before I even know your band. If you send me the thing I need, period. Hard stop. Do that. Same thing goes for like printing on shirts. Like make sure your files are what they need to be. If you're working with a designer, like it might be your homie or whatever, but like make sure that it's big, 300 DPI. It's going to print. It's not 72 DPI for like websites and the internet. We want high res. We want big, like roughly 12 inches by whatever. 16 is like the standard, like print area that most shops use. But yeah, I mean, just know the more colors you get, the higher it's going to cost, unless you're doing DTF instead of screen printing. But like if you're a punk band, screen printing is like the vibe. DTF is a little finicky. Using your sister's Cricut is not cool, in my opinion. Like that's vinyl on a shirt. It's not going to last either. If you want something quality, screen printing, go long term. DTF's getting much, much, much better. DTG, which is direct to garment, is awesome as well. You can do way more colors, way more things. depends on if you're like drop shipping too. Like if you have like an online website and you're just trying to like drop ship clothing, and sell it that way, you got to just kind of get tests. You have to get tests and make sure that you're going with a company that's not giving you a crap product.
When it comes to the graphic side of it, what do you see and that you've worked with? What are the best options for bands when they're just getting started? Is it to do multicolor or to keep it simple the first few times they're doing? Because I mean, money obviously is an option, but what do you see when it comes to sales? What do
I
for
mean,
experience?
my best selling shirts are one color. I've done tens of thousands of shirts sales, yeah, and it's just white ink on a whatever shirt. You can get funky with the clothes. That's actually easier to do than changing up the design itself. Like my burnt out design is just a candle burning at both ends. It's a front and back. So I mean, but it's just white. It's white on black, and it's one of my best sellers of all time. And that one is, you just got to find the sweet spot. I'm not saying like if you're it really has to fit the vibe of the band, whatever the band's vibe is. If you're like a 70s funk punk band or something and you're vibrant colors and like, yeah, go for it. Do a bunch of colors, but know that that's just going to cost a little bit more and then it's a higher risk because if you have shirts sitting in buckets or boxes at your house, that's just money sitting
Yeah,
waiting.
and yeah,
Inventory
because
sucks.
nobody's paying $35 for a shirt at a punk venue either. I don't want to pay it at a stadium
Yeah.
show, so nobody's going to do that. And that's what you got to remember too is. Oh God, I can't believe I have to say this, but I've seen it so many times. Get some sort of tap pay or Square.
Oh yeah.
I still see merch tables that only take cash, and it blows my mind.
They're
And nowadays,
free. I'm pretty sure they're free.
yeah,
Like,
they give them away free at this point. It takes literally 5 minutes to set them up. And people, please, for the love of God, I even see when people do it when because then too is when they'll run out like, hey, I don't have a large with me, but if you want to pay now, as soon as we get done on this
oh
tour, done for
yeah.
the show, I'll mail it out. And that's a big thing is keep track of what you've got, not just at each venue, but what you got in stock, because that's going to happen a lot because it's going to be larges and extra larges.
Especially
Gone.
touring. That was something I was actually a market I was trying to tap a couple years ago. I was like, look, like I own a store. I do 3PL shipping for other businesses. Like there's my tattoo artist next door to me. He's got his own band. I basically ship out all of his stuff when he has stuff to sell. But like if you find somebody who can do 3PL, it's third party logistics, like you can sell when you don't have anything. If you have a limited capacity of space, if you're on the road in your trailer or whatever, you take what you can. But like, if you run out of larges, you run out of smalls, at least you can say you can buy it right here, and I was going to ship it next day. Like that was the goal for this concept.
Nice.
And like, you leave the venue the next morning, you've got your order has been shipped, and like that's a cool little thing. And I think like that would be an interesting, business concept for touring bands that are like pushing merch really
Yeah,
hard. And
especially if you're going to be on the road for 2 weeks and you got 6 guys in a van, there ain't room for
yeah,
more than one box of T-shirts. Just bring one of each size and take orders. And if
yeah,
you got somebody at home, like, hey, send it, and that person gets that, they can have the notification by the time the show's over
yeah.
that their thing's shipped. That's even cooler than like people talk about that. They're going to go online and say, hey, you should have seen the way this was set up. This was really cool.
And one thing I hate is the exact opposite of that. And it's like, hey, I ordered a pre-order and I haven't gotten it for 19 months. Because that happens all the time with big bands too. And I'm like, I don't know how. I don't know how. Like, I work with an awesome print company here in Florida. Shout out Hammerhead. They're really cool. They turn around so fast for bands. It's crazy. Like they're the kind of guys who like drop ship on the road if you run out of merch. Like they will make it happen. And I'm just like, how are we going to do a pre-order and then it's delayed? Like, it has to be on the fulfillment side, I think, because
Yeah.
the printing does not take that long.
No, and
Um,
you see it a lot with like the Kickstarters for upcoming albums.
oh yeah,
Like,
true, true,
hey,
true.
put in 50, you get a T-shirt and a copy of the CD, and then within a couple weeks, the band's got their with pre-order and stuff like that. They've got their production and studio time paid for, which is awesome. I love seeing that because it's not like they're just doing a GoFundMe, like give me money so I could
Yeah.
do this and make money off of it. They're doing
Absolutely an
pre-orders
advocate
and
for that.
stuff like that. And I love seeing that, but I've been burned several times. Like, yeah, like you said, there's probably, I think, one I've been waiting 2 years for a CD, which I don't even listen to the CDs. I was doing it to be nice because I liked the band and wanted to help out, and I'm still waiting. A
2 years.
T-shirt, there's a T-shirt from 7 years ago I still haven't got. Oh, I should call them out. Oh, I'm not going to do it. I'll be the bigger man. I'll be the bigger man.
And they're like, no, we sent it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I found out my neighbor stole it or some
Yeah.
shit.
God.
So something I see all the time, especially nowadays with how technology has come along, is a lot of the e-commerce, the like where it's all print on demand stuff, where you just load in your graphics and then they can be put on 100 different variants. And I've heard some really bad stories about that. What is the ins and outs of stuff like that compared to, because some people they want to work local. They want to be able to go pick their shirts up because that's a big money saver. Shit costs money to ship nowadays.
Well, the
And not
most punk thing you can do is help a homie out. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
if you have a local print homie, that's the guy, or girl, that's where I come from, But I have dabbled with PODs before, print on demands. It is such a quality control issue, honestly. I have some contacts in the industry that are like way, 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 way higher than my pay grade. But I am friends with them. I can't name names, but like they work for they do all the screen printing for Walmart and Target and like Mr. Beast and all these crazy people, and they're like, yeah, we spin like 1 million shirts like a week, period. Like we push that much out. I'm like, that's insane. And if you don't know like that guy in the POD world, everything else is kind of Like I don't know, like there's not very many cool punk POD brands out there that
No.
can help you out and know what to do. You're better off managing it yourself. It's cheaper to manage it yourself, honestly. They take so much money. I mean, you're talking about getting a shirt that should cost $6 to make is now 13. And you're still selling it for $20. You're making $7 instead of $14. Like I don't know. Like that's
And there's no quality control because you're not seeing the shirt. You don't. I've seen some of those that come out. It looks like a shiny iron-on that just
the
look terrible. And I'm like, that was $35.
and
No.
the kicker for me is they don't tell you this. A lot of them don't tell you this, but they size match. So what you upload is usually for like a large or an extra large, and you think, okay, cool, yeah, they're gonna scale the design based on size, thinking like, yeah, they'll scale up for a 2X. No. That's still the same size, but when they go down to a medium or a small or an extra small, they go smaller and smaller. And
Yeah.
smaller. And now you've got like your cool print that's like this big on a shirt. Now it's 8 inches instead of 10. It looks ridiculous.
Or it's a smaller, extra small, and it's fucking pit to pit because they didn't scale it down.
Yeah. They don't know. They have guidelines that they have to face, like corporate wise, and they say, cool, this is what we're doing. We have your design. It's measured at 10 inches. We're going to fluctuate it wherever we need to. And like working with a cool person local, like you can do different things. You can try different things. And you can say, look, I want this print to be massive. How big can we go? And they're more willing to work with you to make a big, bold thing than a POD is not going to give you that luxury. They're going to say, here's your guideline box, fit it in here. And then it doesn't look right. It never looks right.
Yeah, well, and you always got to worry, did it upload right? Is everything okay on their side? Or did somebody order my freaking black metal shirt we can't read the logo and they're getting something with a kitten? You have no idea once that's done. You have no control. Like you said, you got to go local, help out a homie, and build that network too. And especially when anything in the creatives, it doesn't matter if it's art or if it's printing, if it's movies, if it's music, if it's books, being able to go and talk to the person, it gives you more leeway to fuck around a little bit and have fun and get creative with it and see what you can come up with. Because I'm not going to call someone in Florida and be like, yeah, let's see how big we can make this design and then just hope for the best. You
Yeah,
know,
no.
here's my $3,000 for my shirts. I hope they look good because I would have a choice where you got somebody local you can go, you can work with it, look at that. They can explain it to you, walk you through it. And it's also easier too. Like you could call them on a Thursday, be like, shit, I'm out of extra larges. Can I get some by Saturday? And everybody, eventually you got that guy like, I can get them to you tonight.
Now, don't get
You
me
know,
wrong. They're still grumpy. They're still mad at
oh,
you
they're
for
still
doing that.
grumpy.
But
Yes, they're not happy,
they're gonna be like,
but
"Fuck, okay, fine." You know, like,
and give those homies shout outs. That's one thing is
yeah,
people, I mean, it is networking. It's who you know, it's who knows you. And the impression you make on people is so important in the industry. Is when someone does, even if there's a job doing a favor, if you're just your merch came in and you're a band, post on all your social media, tag and collaborate with that merch guy and say, hey, look, got all my stuff, do an unboxing, show how excited you are. You should be, because if you're not,
yeah,
that's kind of shitty. You know, give people credit and the props they deserve. And that's something that is just skipped a lot, which you get excited and forget to. I mean, we've all been there,
yeah, for sure.
but you got to build those relationships. Because I mean, if you ever want to homie discount and get that 10% off and you build a break like, oh yeah, I know so and so, well, make sure it's worth their while too. You don't want it to be a one-sided relationship.
Yeah, I mean, there's also always like affiliate, like being an affiliate for the printer. You know, like if I get you business, that's good for my business. You know, so like that was something I always did. Like if I didn't do any paid advertising for my printing company when I was printing for bands. It was all organic. It was all word of mouth, and they kept coming and they didn't stop. So it was great, until COVID hit and nobody's printing merch anymore because nobody needs merch which is crazy. Which was like that was the perfect time to make merch as a band,
Yeah.
but that's not neither here nor there. You know what I mean? Everybody just stopped. No more shows, no more merch. I think there's so much to be said about selling online. That's all I do. So I rarely will do like an event or a showcase. Like I am trying to build out a retail store here, but like that's not a priority for me right now. But I feel like I'm still I'm treating my business like a band, even though there's no music involved. Like this is how I would do it if I was in a band now too, and I think that's kind of a telling thing. Everybody wants to be a part of something, and building community is like the other massive side of this. Like you were kind of talking about it earlier. Like you get people involved, you get people commenting, you get them circling about an idea. That's your community, dude. Those are your people. Make them feel like they're your people, and they'll always give back, and they'll always be there.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That's what I probably talk about on every damn show, but that's because people aren't fucking listening. Is get those your social media. I mean, it is. There's only marketing is, especially in the music industry, is merch and social media. There's no print mags. There's nothing like we talked about. So getting in there in your comments and replying to those fans that are talking about stuff and paying attention to see who's sharing your pages or even liking the comments, because those are the ones that you can sell merch to. And if you can sell merch to a fan, you just got that fan to pay money to do free advertising for you. That is in any, I don't care if it's a
Yep.
band or if you're Target. If you got your logo on something else, someone paid you to advertise, to be a billboard, you won.
Yeah, walking billboard.
That
It's a
that
walking
is
billboard.
awesome. And not only that, those are the people that are going to support you when on and off the stage. Build that community. You know what? You had a bad show. You come off the show, you're like, oh, and so those are the people that are come up and they're still gonna be like, hey, you did a great job, even though they know you both know you did, but you needed to hear that. Those are the people that are going to be supportive and build that community around you. And like I said, it's everything is word of mouth. It doesn't matter if you're what industry it is, what business you are. It's everybody passing along good stories and good experiences. And in the music industry, you've got somebody, hey, out of how many conversations I've had, my wife she gets so irritated. She's such a wonderful woman and so tolerant. All I wear are band shirts. I own well over 100. One of these days, I'm going to have to lay them
Me
all
too.
out. And so we can't go anywhere without somebody. Hey, I know that. And my wife's like, Jesus Christ. But it's so good. It opens, and I've actually made some really great connections in networking doing that.
Yeah.
it's such a word of mouth, and you've got to form those connections, and it's so important nowadays to getting the merch out there and interacting with your fans, because the ones that feel they're part of it, those are the ones that wear the shirt. In other words, if they didn't weren't comfortable enough, because the whole name three bands kind of bullshit.
Oh, I hate
You got
that. I
those
hate
people
it
out
so
there.
much.
Well, and I'm one of them. I can't. There's bands I've been listening to for years that I just put it on play and listen. I couldn't tell you some of
I
the
could
tracks on
not
a
tell you the
song,
name.
on albums that I've listened to for 30 years. I couldn't tell you the names of the tracks. So I've never been one of those, but people literally get nervous because there's gatekeepers and jerks out there that put people on the spot like that. So if you've got fans that are out there wanting to wear your stuff, it's so cool. I mean, there's nothing better than seeing your band, well, a brand, like we were talking about. A band is a brand, and I love when artists recognize that, because it really is. I'm not trying to cheapen it, because it is art. It's something meaningful, very meaningful and heartfelt, but it's a brand, and you gotta learn to promote that brand. And it's hard sometimes trying to cross that over. Well, like with you now, how do you, because now that you're just on the merch side, obviously you've been good at doing merch for years, what troubles do you have when it comes to marketing merchandise?
All of them.
All
No, I thought of something while you were speaking, and it's a little controversial, but I think I can put it into perspective. So if we pretend that Two Crow Collective is a band, every shirt that we've put out is a lyric shirt. It might not say our band name on it. It might not say anything on it. And if a really cool band put out a shirt that didn't say their band name on it, I'd probably buy it. And I think there's something to be said for that. Like, you shouldn't necessarily only be marketing to your community. You should be marketing to people who should be in your community to get them in your community. So if you have a shirt that speaks to something larger than your music or your band name, it could speak to your core values. It could speak to the stories that you're telling in your lyrics. It could speak to the political system that we live in. It could speak to anything. That's going to get people to like you as a business, as a brand, and also maybe be like, yo, I like that music too. Like, there's definitely a correlation there. And I'm not saying go out tomorrow and build your band as a clothing brand specifically, but like, there's ways to market what you're doing aside from the music itself, and you can make money while doing it. And I know money's not everything. A lot of musicians are like, if I make the music, they will come, and that is just simply not the case. This isn't the field of dreams. Sometimes it is if you get lucky, but we do have to treat your band like a business, because you're just wasting time, energy, money on what then, if not growing and being the best you possibly can be. But I think that would be interesting if a band came up and they were like, look, like, we have this really cool lyric and it means this, and can I market that shirt to non-band lovers? If you can say yes to that, that's a really good shirt.
It's a really good shirt, because then you can your target audience, the target market, just expanded. It has nothing to do with your brand, your genre, or even music itself.
Yeah.
It's just it could be. It doesn't have to be a serious one. It doesn't have to be something close to the heart. It could be something stupid and silly. Let's say you got a song that's got a really goofy ass lyric in it, but it's catchy. Like you said, turn it into a graphic and put it on a shirt, and now everybody. How funny is that? I've seen that where you're like, oh yeah, I like that band. They're like, it's a band.
Yeah, it's
I
what?
saw
Huh?
this. Yeah, I've had that happen, and that's awesome, because that's obviously you want to. It's about the music too, but if you get people buying your merch, they don't even know that it's band merch. That's brilliant. That's
Yeah.
really good marketing, and like you said, a little planning. It's not that hard. You can even go into the planning stage from when you're writing the songs and be like, hey, there's a good lyric. Let's run with that, and you could have the T-shirts all before the song's recorded.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit of effort and planning, which isn't everybody's, forte.
True. There was
So
there was one thing we did in my old band. It was Rise Among Rivals. We did our EP release show, and this was like, I'm a risk taker. I like big ideas. I like trying new things. And if you don't try new things at shows, if you don't try new things outside of what you're play a show, sell your merch, go home, repeat. Like that's not okay with me. I need to do more. We did a foam finger night. And so at the door, it was 200 cap room. At the door, we handed out 100. First 100 people get a free foam finger, and then we sold the other 100 at the merch booth. And by the time that the first 100 people were in, they have their foam fingers. People were like, "Wait, what is going on?" And that made people buy merch like foam fingers from us at the booth. And we have I'll see if I can find it and send it to you. There's a photo of it of us, and then like we had a photographer standing on the drum throne, take a picture of the crowd, and everybody's got their foam finger up. And it was such a cool little moment for our CD release show that like it was sold out. Everybody had a foam finger. I still have one somewhere here because I kept it because it was awesome. But like stuff like that where it's like that's
goosebumps. You can literally see them. That's absolutely awesome. I've never thought of something like that. That's such a great marketing concept. I mean, God, especially like if you're a band and you're like, I kind of want to shoot a live video, but I want to tell everybody, and that's an easy way to get it looking really. Because when you tell people you're shooting a live video, people act stupid.
Yeah.
And you want to capture something more natural. That's cool. That God, yeah, you have to send me that picture. That sounds
I'll
cool.
find it
That's
somewhere.
Awesome.
It was such a cool moment to just get up on stage and people are just there. They're just ready, And I was like, holy shit, this is bigger than I thought it was going to be, But like, if you don't take risks like that, nothing's going to change. You're going to get in this system where you just play the same shows in the same venues to the same people and then nothing happens,
Well, and there's that herd mentality. Everybody's like, well, I don't want to be the only one without a foam finger. Yeah, I'll pay $50 for the foam finger. That wasn't in my budget, but I don't want to be the one guy without one.
I mean, we only did them for like $10. We just we didn't even care about making money on it. We just wanted to like make our money back on it, like
that's so cool. And I wonder how many of those are still out there. Hopefully people are listening to this and will start getting tagged in pictures of your foam fingers from how many years ago was that now?
God, 5 or 6 now, probably.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh God, we're gonna do some research on this.
Like I'm in the process of redoing my office, but like it'll be here. It'll be on the wall.
Oh, cool.
Hold on. I'm gonna pull this out. Another thing we did with my old band, Dead Eyes, we had a song that started with "Swinging for the Fences," and so we made like 10 bloody baseball bats, and we sold, I think, 6 of them just to make the money back. But like this is gonna be up on the wall, my bloody baseball bat. That's not real blood; it's fake, but still, it's cool.
That's awesome.
I just like that stuff,
Yeah, I see. I love niche and one-offs and stuff like that. Like the band, Vinny Castellano from Belushi Speedball. Props. I mention him all the damn time. There's nobody better in the fucking industry when it comes to unique marketing stuff and unique products. That guy is brilliant. I mean, he's some pizzas encased in resin that actually you plug in and have songs on them.
That's
Teddy Ruxpins with their album. He's got Game Boy. The albums come out on Game Boy Advance cartridges. I mean, it's so awesome. I love seeing bands, even if it's a run of 5. I mean, people are gonna buy them. That type of stuff it's so fun. I mean, as a music fan, I just love that stuff. And as a marketing fan, I live for that stuff. So now let's talk a little bit about what you've had going on. You've had kind of a busy year.
Yeah,
just a touch. So this, if people don't know, Two Crow Collective is the company that has the only licensed by PBS, the PBS's punk shirts. And that's how I know you. And let's talk a little bit about that, because that has just blown up and it's an absolutely incredible thing you're doing. So thank you for that, for starters. But what got you into that, and how did you go about getting the officially licensed and to where you're at now?
It was kind of crazy. I think I could tell this story. I don't see why I couldn't. I made the design, and it was something that, like, I have PTSD, so I have a very visual trauma trigger, and so I've kind of started to harness that and using it for art purposes. Like, I will see something in my head very, very present, and like I'm trying to like capture it again and again and again. And that design, the PBS logo as a punk guy, I kept seeing it. I was like, I gotta just get it out. And I grabbed my drawing pad here at the office and in 10 minutes I had it done. It literally took me 10 minutes to design. Because it's simple. It's not like it's crazy or anything, but I was like, I have to do it. I actually spent more time on the lettering than the actual head. And
It's
I
so
just,
precise that the slightest bit off. It looks like a Temu version, which there are
yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
There
there are
are
out
those
there.
out there, and you can
Yep.
tell. And I call them out every time I see one. I always get in the comments, buy the only licensed ones from
Yeah,
Tunepact
no,
Podcast.
this is like talking about community. Like, oh my God, I opened the right door, you know? And the PBS fans out there that love this design, and that are like alternative punk rock dudes and chicks that grew up with PBS. And like, I think all in all, it's like, I believe that it is punk, you know? And of course, there's like, I've got the hater punks, the posers who are like, yo, like, this isn't punk. They are the man. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up, dude. Shut up. And then I've got the other side of the political spectrum calling me a pedophile, which is insane because I like PBS. I don't know. It's been crazy. I opened a can of worms here,
You
but
you created the easiest litmus test for me. If people say anything negative about you, just block. You're done. I have
yeah.
no more reason to speak with you.
It was crazy, you know, and I grew up like Fred Rogers is a punk icon. Like this is a thing. If you Google it,
Absolutely,
like he's a
yeah,
punk icon, and
absolutely. I grew up with him. It's
Oscar the
just
Grouch, punk icon, and it's just like it is punk. They treat kindness and empathy and storytelling as a powerful tool and access for education, and they speak truly to all the like the ideals that I love about punk rock. You know, like when I go to a punk show and I get hit in the pit, there's 10 dudes trying to pick me up. And that's what punk is, period. You
you know,
know? And
knock
you know,
some
I
if
know
someone
there's
falls down, pick them back up.
pick
It's
them back
about
up.
well, and same with PBS. It's about community and inclusivity,
Yeah.
and just be nice. It's not hard.
Be nice.
I'll never like. I end every single show the same way with just freaking be nice to each other and have fun because I don't get it why you have to make that choice not to, and I love seeing the press you're getting and the coverage
Yeah,
you're getting.
it's
I mean,
crazy.
the was it yesterday or the day before? Popped up on social
Yeah.
media, the new host of Reading
Reading
Rainbow
Rainbow, Michael.
wearing one of your shirts and tagging you all over. And I just saw on Threads someone had talked about the PBS is punk, and PBS is in there tagging you, making sure they knew where to get it. I was so happy for you.
Yeah.
That was so absolutely cool.
It's a dream. They're a dream company to or nonprofit to work for and work with. And I've only had amazing conversations. I can only speak to the highest level of they are the best. Like the most punk thing PBS could do is work with me. And I
Exactly.
think they knew that. Like, so I want to tell the story about how it came to fruition. So I made the logo, right? I posted it. I said, listen, like PBS is being defunded by the government. I just donate. It's important. I think it's important. I don't usually do stuff like this. I usually stay in my lane. And I did it because I was like, you know what? I feel drawn to say something. And I wrote this whole long post out. I said, donate here, donate to the PBS Foundation, donate, subscribe to your local station. I grew up with it. I'd come home from school every day and watch Arthur. Like, that's what I grew up with. And I was getting message and comment and emails. Like, they're finding my email address. Everybody's emailing me. And it's just like every other email says, like, hey, are you putting these on shirts? Can I get one? And this one email stood out. I have no idea why. And it said Ira. And I was like, okay, let me. And it's just like, hey, dude, just wondering if you're going to put these on shirts or stickers or patches. I'd love to have one. And I just said, listen, like, and this is where if I was a different person, this wouldn't have happened. And I said, listen, like, I just want to get the green light. I want to make sure I'm going through the right channels. And a lot of punks don't think that's punk. A lot of punks were like, no, just do it. Ask for forgiveness later. Just do it. Just do it. We just want shirts. I'm like, no. This is kindness and empathy and giving the thing the time it needs to stew.
This is the point of
And
PBS and what they taught me. I'm not going to. That would
identically.
defeat the purpose
Yeah.
of it.
And like, I'm an artist. I want to respect whoever designed that logo. I don't know who the original designer was, you know? Like, I'm looking to get this license so that I can potentially sell and make some money for PBS, right? And I said, hey, I'm just waiting for the green light. I'll let you know when I know. And they respond back, hey, this is Ira Rubenstein. I'm the CMO of PBS. And I don't know why that was the one email I answered. Like I was answering a bunch of them, but like that one I answered very specifically. I have no idea why. The universe just told me to do it. And a month later, I worked with them really hands-on for a few weeks, and then we made it happen. I'm the only person outside of PBS or its affiliates to use the license of the PBS logo, which is crazy.
So awesome. I'm so happy for you and so proud of what you've done. You are I posted about the other day when I saw Michael the new host for Reading Rainbow and his shirt because he is such just a
He's
joy. He's a national treasure.
Yes.
And what PBS stands for, what it's meant to me and my kids and I got a grandson now. So like seeing what you've done and seeing good people like yourself and like the people from PBS working together for something so important to so many people, it really, really means a lot to me. And I want to thank you. Like I'm getting choked up here.
Oh,
Like I want to
stop.
thank you from the bottom of my heart because honestly, like what you're doing is important and it's really great to see because it's so few and far between nowadays that when someone does go above and beyond, it really stands out. And I'm glad that you're getting the recognition that you deserve because you
Thank you.
deserve all of it, except for the negative stuff. Of course, though, hey,
Well, the funny.
I tell all my clients, I tell all the bands I work with, the labels I work with, hate is heat. Use it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it worked. It definitely was driving things up, like from a marketing perspective, I get very in my head. I have insane imposter syndrome. None of this feels real. And the funniest bit is before I knew you, you posted about it. And I remember I was literally standing in a Home Depot. I was renting a vehicle to help my sister-in-law move into a dance studio. We were getting like I don't know, a bunch of wood or something. And I'm standing there and your video pops up like, hey, Lee Pierce tagged you in a post or whatever on Instagram or TikTok or something. And in that moment, I was on this drive and I was thinking like, God, like every other comment's bad. Like, did I do the wrong thing? Did I do the wrong thing? Like all these punks hate me. Like this is just like I was getting inundated at that point with like crazy stuff. And like nobody had gotten their shirts yet. Like you were one of like the very first, I think, of the pre-order to get their shirt. And so I was like worried. I was like, I spent a lot of money doing this. Like it was a pre-order. Like we were delayed. People were emailing me mad because like things were taking a little bit longer because I'm fulfilling everything by myself. I had to hire 3 people to help me. And then I get your video and I'm like, oh, thank God a real punk likes it. And that was it. And I was like, that was the turning point. And I was like, no, I'm doing the right thing. Like this is like I have a real dude. The dude from Punkerton Records likes my shit. Sick. And then
That's awesome.
then everything started to come to fruition, and now I'm not
Well,
feeling very
I'm
mean.
glad I was there when you needed it. That's community, and that's
Yeah,
why I do stuff like that. And when someone does something I feel is important, I'll do an unboxing or stuff like that. And well, it was like I was saying, if you're in a band and your merch shows up, do an unboxing. Give a shout out to that merch guy. Just if you don't have a local homie, make that one. You got to reach out. You got to make those connections and build your community. It's like I said, especially nowadays.
and appearances are huge. Like helping a homie is never going to be a bad thing, unless that homie's a bad person. But like,
Yeah.
do your research, I guess.
It's another litmus test. If someone has a problem with you supporting somebody else that's a good person, that tells you everything. It says way more about them than it does you. And
Yeah.
it sucks. I've lost a lot of people over the last few years, but none of them that I miss. Actually, the
Hey.
longer I think about it, most of them are never surprises either. You're like, that's on brand. That checks out. So it's good because like they say, the pack gets stronger when you weed out the weak ones. Or the dumb ones for this instance, possibly. But
Yeah.
so so when it comes to stuff, you've done marketing from the band perspective, from the merchandise for bands, and now your own marketing for your merchandise company. What are some issues or something that you've seen or done, that was a mistake that you kind of changed the way you did things?
It's interesting. I've gone back and forth between, at least from the clothing brand line, between having inventory and doing print on demand. Now, you have to realize, like, when I say print on demand in this case, I'm talking about I take an order and then I print it. I'm not talking about using a POD. I'm talking like I had a slew of orders and now I'm behind doing everything by hand myself. Um, there's a fine line there, and I've tried nearly everything. I am back on doing inventory, but I actually have the financial backing to do it this time. Before I tried to do it, and I just had stuff sit on the shelf, and then they didn't sell. And so I think from the band perspective, it's like getting too much of the wrong thing is huge. I think it's actually more beneficial to start small, spend more money to start small, thinking like each shirt will be a little bit more expensive because you're not going to get a $3 off per shirt for getting 1,000. Like, but I've been there. I've bought way too many shirts for no reason because I wanted to hit a threshold, and that was just detrimental because you just have them sit. If they sit in a box, that's not doing you any good. Your band could have used that money somewhere else. So I'd rather suggest getting 25 shirts and work your little tail off to sell them, and then get 50 the next time. But we're also talking about something called sales velocity, like how quickly can you turn something over. So if you're getting 25 shirts, you can sell them all out in one show. Cool. Get 50 for the next one, see how it does. If you sell 35 of them, you have a slower sales velocity than you did before. So maybe you don't. Maybe 25 is the sweet spot for that design. Or maybe you need to get new faces in your shows, and that's something else. Like, everything tells you what to do next. You just have to be open to listening to the universe and how that works, you know?
It's all a numbers game, whether it's on social media and it's your analytics that you're looking at, or your e-commerce as well as what your click-through rate is, or at the merch table. It's it's all the same. It's just you got to look at those numbers and see, is it working or isn't it? Obviously you can't base it all off one shot, like, because it may be the region, it might be the city you're in, or maybe it was the day of the week or the time of the month. You hit between everybody in that
Yep.
area gets paid bi-weekly, and you hit the off week. Ain't nobody got cash this week, or nobody got money. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
little testing you got to do. But yeah, you got to be willing to adjust and also take a step back and take a little dose of reality sometimes, because even if you do well, even like when it comes to, if you do hit big, whether it's an album or a viral video or a t-shirt design, doesn't mean the next one's gonna. Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
it's it's hard to duplicate that. It's a lotto win, it's a lightning strike sometimes, but it doesn't mean the progress has to die either, or the momentum. And that's the thing, is take those wins as momentum and fuel. It's something the good that happened. Because, I mean, like you mentioned, I think we all got that imposter syndrome where we don't believe we deserve what we have, the good things, only the bad things. And
Yeah.
then we'll all get that all of a sudden. Oh, maybe. But then we get a little overzealous, and we, like you said, sold 25 in that first show, we'll order 100 this time. And the next show you sold 12. So you got to take those steps little by little. Be willing to put a little extra money and time out ahead of time to figure those plans out and get it figured out. Especially like you said, you got to run it like a business. Whether it's the merchandise business, if it's a marketing business, if it's a band, if you're a record label, you're a business and a brand, and you need to look at that. Unless you're really truly in it just for the art and you want your art out there. Otherwise, it's all about the branding and perfecting that and figuring the best way to showcase it as well.
I think when it comes down to it, if like my final piece of advice for this is like, I hate capitalism, but I am living through it, right? Like, we all are. We all have to kind of do this, right? Um, I would rather invest in people than invest in anything else. And so when it comes down to it, building your community is going to be the best thing you can do as a musician, in my eyes. I know one thing I did, like, look at a T-shirt not as $25, look at it as what you paid for it, because that kind of makes a huge difference. If somebody comes up to your merch booth and they have $10 and they're like, "Dude, can I please get a shirt?" Are you going to make a few bucks on it? Yeah, hopefully. Unless you spend a whole lot of money on $11 shirts or something. But even then, it's like, are you willing to lose $1 right now to have somebody love you for life? I am. And that's something I take into account every day when I get a customer service email. Somebody didn't get their merch. There's a hole in their shirt. Or somebody's like, "Hey, I got the wrong size." I just let them have it, usually. I'm just like, keep it. give it to your friend, wear it as pajamas, bleach it, do whatever you want. I'll send you a new one. I lost nothing, but I
Bleach it.
gained something huge.
Bleach it. I love it. There's some old school merch tricks right there. Bleaching shirts because you would buy used ones or buy them someplace cheap, and there's mismatched stuff or there's spots on them, so you bleach them out so you can't tell that they're that way. It's intentional. God, I miss those days.
I mean, I sell all my test prints. I sell every fuck up.
That's
Like
awesome.
cheap because it's like it's a way for people to get in and like it's a one of a kind thing. And yeah, like it might not be the best, but at the end of the day, it's like if they want something that bad that they're like, "Hey, I can't afford it, but I can afford like something." I'd rather give them something, you know? And
Well, and if you're good at marketing your brand and you're good at branding, those test prints and fuck ups can actually bring more money than the regular shirts. You know, especially if you're doing like the PBS's punk ones for where you can put it on eBay. You know, put a link like, "Hey, test prints up." Who knows what you could bring with stuff like that, especially with bands and stuff too. Don't anything. I tell them that whether it's merchandise or content they're trying to create, all the stuff that you think is garbage probably worth more than what you're trying to do to somebody out there. You just got to find the right people.
Yep.
So, what do you got coming up?
Um, I have a lot. I just hired, well, I'm in the middle of interviewing artists, so we're trying to expand the collective to be bigger, wider, vaster, I guess. Trying to, like, I know my style is very specific, but I want to get out of a bubble, so I'm trying to hire other alternative tattoo, punk, gritty grunge artists to expand what we do. Um, so that's cool. We'll be doing a lot of guest collabs too in the near future with other tattoo artists across the world. I wanted to do tattoo shirt in every state, and that's a huge endeavor that we're working on very, very slowly in the back end. And then I'm also working on a pilot podcast, which will be bringing people on to tell me their stories, and then I will try to find a gem in what they say to make a shirt design for their specific symptom or story.
Wow, that is really cool. I'm gonna have to talk to you more about that.
Yeah.
I love that. That is, once again, like, man, I thought I couldn't like you anymore, and then you go and pop shit off like that. You really you're a really cool person. I like where your mind
Thanks,
goes
man.
is instantly how you can help other people instead of what's in it for me. And I just appreciate that. I wish there's more people out there like you, but I think with what you do, you're creating more people like that.
I hope
And
so. That's kind of the goal.
it's kind of the point, isn't it?
Yeah. I want people to realize that their stories do matter and that they have value and that like sharing deep, hurtful, painful things can actually help someone else. And I mean, specifically, like I don't do designs based on illness. Like I won't do a design for Crohn's. I won't do a design for cancer. I won't do a design for PTSD. I will do a design based on the symptoms of those things so that somebody with Crohn's can relate to somebody with cancer or PTSD or whatever. And I think that helps breed a better community too, because it's people will feel less alone, even though I feel like chronic illness and mental health are like the most lonely things because while I can't understand the pain that anybody else is feeling, like all I can understand is that you're going through it. And I think that alone helps people. And so that's kind of what I advocate for. And I like I'm making walking billboards for myself, right? Like on a core brand level, that's what I'm doing. But I'm also making a walking billboard for somebody to be like, I get it. Like I understand that. And while every shirt has a different meaning to somebody else, it's art, dude. We're making art. Songs have different meanings to different people. Apparel has different meanings to different people. Fine art has different meanings to different people. And I think just sharing what it means to you is a big enough value to other people that you should share something. You should share a piece of yourself. And that's all I'm trying to do is help people share a little piece of themselves. That's it.
Well, James, thank you for coming on and thank you for sharing a little part of yourself with everybody
Thanks,
today.
man.
It really does. Boy, that worked out. Man, we couldn't have wrote
That worked out really well.
Yeah, then we got to ruin it by bragging about it. Damn it. Oh, well.
No, it's
But
all
hey,
good.
give yourself a pat on the back when you do something cool. It's what we're talking about. But James, thank you so much. Well, for everything you do, we've been talking for a while now, and for coming on the show. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you got coming up. And I know there's some other big things coming up that you didn't mention because you can't, but I'm pretty excited for a lot of the stuff. When this comes out, hopefully some of that'll already been out, but we'll
I
have
hope
to see.
so. One day at a time.
Anyways, thanks for coming on. Everybody, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you. Be sure to do the whole like and subscribe and share thing. Give me some feedback, good and bad. I want to know what I'm doing either way. Hopefully good. Please, please. I'm weak. I can't take the bad. No, but thank you for being here. Everybody, please, if you're not having fun, there's no point. And be nice to each other because Jesus Christ, come on. We got to be nice to each other. So thank you again. And everybody, we will catch you next time.